Oh, hello everybody, and today I would like to show you how I do double mount and framing for my pastel paintings. There are probably lots of tutorials available, but maybe my tutorial will be useful for you as well, and you will find something what you can use in your framing. So, well, to start with, what I'm using a pre-cut mount, which is pre-cut on a, buying them a pack of 10s, and then I just adjust them according to my painting, which I've done because sometimes it's varying sizes. So I leave a little bit, so on the side of the painting I measure how much I have to be the cut, the window actually in a mount, and then I'm using this tool, which is I showed you in the beginning of the video, and this is a kind of a little tool for smaller size of mounts, and it's manual cutting of the mounts in right size. So it's called Logan. I'm pretty sure you can find it online and buy it online. The thing I would advise is to get blades as well, because they go in blunt quite quickly. So this is in a speeding video, I'm showing how I'm using this tool for both of my mounts. Obviously the first mount I'm doing according to the size of the painting, and the second mount, which is going on the top, I'm usually do about 5 millimeters or sometimes 8 millimeters depending on the size of the frame. So in this case I am doing only 5 millimeters difference between the bottom mount and the top mount. So when you cut your mounts, they would have going one on the top of another, and you will have a little line in between. In this case I used black and ivory mount. So my next step is attaching mount to the actual painting. For this I'm using a tape, which is a tape particularly for the art pieces. It would be sticking to the mount and to the paint and holding it in place. Initially I am taking a couple of pieces cut and attach it to the painting. So before pressing it to the painting, I'm making sure it's going nicely around, and there is no spaces which haven't been painted, so it's cover all the edges. Then I'm using this tape on the top of the mount where my two pieces were before, and I'm using it in a kind of with creating hinges. The painting has to be attached to the mount only at the top. The reason is that your painting can, when it's framed, depending on humidity, the heat and everything in the room, it could go bigger, a little bit bigger, a bit smaller, so it can shrink a little bit, so there is no bending in the painting itself. So it has to be attached only at the top of the mount, top of the painting to the top of the mount. Right, next step is to attach our top mount, which is slightly narrower, like in my case 5 millimeters narrower than the bottom mount, and for this reason I'm using a double tape. And to make it straight, my tip would be just to put it next to some kind of straight surface box or frames, and then you firmly attach it, kind of pressing. And I'm using tissue here just to make sure I don't use my hands, because it could be a bit dirty, so when the top mount is light. So with the help of a table knife, I open the clips at the back of the tape and making sure the glass inside is clean. So I also would give you a tip, if to before you're opening the frame, just clean the front of the glass before you're cleaning inside. So because when you're going to clean inside, it will be hard to understand whether it did from the front or from inside of the glass, so it will be easier. So when you clean your glass of the frame properly, then you gently putting your painting in, which is mounted painting, you're putting it in. Try be careful when you put it, so if you need to like adjust it, gently adjust it from the side. Again, I'm using my little table knife to do this like carefully. Then don't put the clips back straight away. Before you're doing this, press firmly at the back of the painting and then turn it around. Have a look so there are no, little pieces of pastels or dirt or hair you can see from the front. So you're checking it and you had a look, you're sure there's nothing, you turn it back around, and then you obviously put the clips back in place. And again, give it a good clean from the front, when you turn it around. Then to protect your painting more, we're going to put tape, masking tape, at the, where the stitches are between the back panel and the frame. So you cut it to size and like nicely put it from all the sides. I am personally using Tessa tape. I quite like it, Tessa brown tape, and I tried a different one, but this one particularly works well for me. I put this picture of my tape in the beginning of the video. Next step is to do the fixing. A lot of times our frames coming already with all these little clips where they suggest to hang it on the wall for, but I prefer with painting, particularly with the glass, because they're heavier. I'm using framing D-rings. Depending on the size of the picture, it could be 1 hole or 2 holes. If the painting is small, as 1 hole is perfect, so you screw them in. Then I am attaching the wire. The wire is going through the fixing. As you see, I'm doing the loop, and then I'm adding and then I'm putting the wire through this loop, so it's fixing it in one place. The wire should be longer than the width of the painting, so you can do the knots on the other side. So you do this type of knots, as you see I'm doing here. I'm doing about 6 or 7 knots. It should achieve, try to achieve a quite good you should the wire shouldn't be loose. It should be quite stretched between these two fixing, because it will give when it will be hung. So but anyway, when you attach this wire and done your knots, the last piece of which is where what left you need to fix with the tape. some good tape, whatever you like, you find good sticky tape, you're putting around this, and that's pretty much done. So your painting is ready to go on the wall. So don't forget to attach all the stickers, or whatever you've got, some information at the back of your painting, and that's it. If you have got any good ideas as well about the materials you use, or maybe some other suggestions, it would be good if you put them in a comment, because they will be useful for everybody as well. Well, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, hopefully it was helpful. Thank you.